back to another episode of Touring the AFC South. I am your host, Mike Patton. And of course, this month it's Women's History Month. So I'm having all Black women as guests. And this episode is no different. I have Jashell Mitchell on the show with me. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for allowing me to kind of get into your life, your story, and talk about you today on this episode.
No problem. Thank you so much, Mike, for having me.
Of course. Now we're going to get into everything with you, but of course, first, I'd like to do a Black history fact in terms of, women's history. So it's going to be about a Black woman. So if you will, go down the path with me. We're going to talk about Vivian Fuller. Now, Vivian Fuller was born October 17th, 1954 in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. She grew up participating in recreational sports like softball and volleyball, but didn't really kind of, take it to the next level, I should say. She ended up going to Fayetteville State University and graduating with a degree in physical education. Of course, she would go on to earn a master's degree in education and a doctorate in higher education administration before kind of testing out her knowledge in the field, I should say. She began her career at Bennett College for Women in Greensboro, North Carolina, as a director of intramurals and a PE instructor. Of course, she would become in 1984. She became the assistant director of athletics at North Carolina A&T, as well as the women's volleyball and softball coach. She would do that until she left in 1987 to become director of intercollegiate athletics at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Now, she was known to show concern for student athletes and programs with voicing the needs of women's athletics to educate, college admins and coaches. And of course, as she climbed along the path to success, it meant she was going to be in positions or in they're trying to be up for positions that are actually going to, involve more men than women. Of course, she was with some opposition, but she still continued to push and fight for her role and her seat at the table. She would go on to Northern Illinois from 1992 to 97 before landing a job at Tennessee State University. She beat out 3 other candidates for the athletic director position at Tennessee State University right here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm in Nashville, by the way. And she actually became the first African-American woman to hold an athletic director position at a Division I school with a football team. So she made history in 1997. Unfortunately, it didn't necessarily end as great because 15 months later, the university president, James Hefner, fired her. He claimed there was several mistakes that had cost the school and things like that, but she ended up suing the school for wrongful termination, and everything eventually was settled, out of court. She would end up going on to, getting a second chance at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. So I wanted to bring that bit of history. Vivian Fuller, over at Tennessee State University, making history, the first athletic director, first Black female athletic director at a Division I school with a football team. Now, did you know that one before I started talking about it on this episode?
No, sir. I am familiar with the name and the association through women in sports, but it's definitely some backhand history for me.
Yeah, definitely. She was someone that I don't remember quite as much. I mean, when she got hired, I was 15 when she got hired. So I guess I didn't know the inner workings of, wasn't thinking about the inner workings of college sports in terms of the ADs and things like that. At that point in time, I probably was still trying to figure out, can I get a scholarship to go to college at some point? But definitely was interesting to kind of read up on everything that happened and just wow. I wish it would have ended better for her is what I really came away with thinking about. It just yeah, you just hated that it ended that way. But we're gonna talk about, kind of switch gears and talk about you though. We're seeing that, everything that you've done, you've kind of, been a lot of different places, had a lot of different experiences. So we're gonna dive into that. But first, I want to talk about where you're from. Flint, Michigan. The Flint. A lot of people know that name, thinking about the Flintstones with Michigan State, Mateen Cleaves, and those guys. Of course, know the water crisis as well there too. But how was it growing up in Flint, Michigan?
Growing up in Flint, Michigan was amazing. It was a great time, being able to, participate with phenomenal athletes from across the city, and to go on to do great things collegiately and professionally. It was a great time. I had two blue collar parents that worked for General Motors. My sister was heavily involved in athletics and band as well. So very well versed throughout my time growing up in Flint, Michigan, and thankful for great community champions, community sports and recreation, community education for the Flint Community School Directors, NYSP, middle school, elementary, and high school sports at a very high level, not only just in our city, in our state, but across the country. So, great time growing up in Flint, Michigan.
Okay, all right. Now, did you play sports growing up?
I did. I did. I participated in basketball, track, softball, and just was honored to have the opportunity to participate in those various sports, throughout my career, at a very high level.
Nice, nice. It seems like everyone that's involved in sports that doesn't play used to play at some point in time. So, it's always interesting to hear, what sports people played and, what they did, things like that. But
Oh yeah.
um, now, currently where you are, you're in an administrative role.
Mhm.
So, did you kind of think of wanting to do that when you were a kid growing up, or what was your dream job growing up as a kid?
Wow, growing up, I wanted to. I'm not sure if you're familiar. There was a TV show called Fun House and Double Dare. I wanted to be on those two shows for the life of me. I wasn't sure how, or who I needed to call or apply. But then at that particular time, a lot of those shows were based out of California. So I always wanted to go to California and be on those two shows. And then rolled out the WNBA, 1999, my high school graduation year. So Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, all of those awesome women, even from my hometown, Tanya Edwards, and so many different people who operated at a very high level. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I remember when the WNBA first happened. And, I got to say, I was a Los Angeles Sparks fan because I was a big Lisa Leslie fan.
Yes, yes,
And I was like, come on. It's like, come on, Sparks.
yeah.
I was always cheering when she dunked. I remember like jumping out of my chair when she dunked, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. I love watching it. And I kind of miss some of the teams like the Sacramento Monarchs and Orlando Miracle, Detroit
Correct.
Shock. I miss some of those
Mhm,
teams, and I wish they were still here. But of course, we still do have the league, and it's still here. But
mhm,
I need some expansion to happen. I really do wish it would happen because you have first round picks getting drafted, and then some of
mhm.
them not even making the team. That's just not right to me.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But you didn't. We didn't want to end this story in Michigan though,
Mhm.
because eventually you went down south.
Yeah.
I mean, way down south, like
Mhm,
Panhandle down south,
mhm.
Florida, Bethune Cookman. Now I've got to ask, how did that kind of happen? Michigan to Bethune Cookman. How did that happen?
Wow. Well, for me, it was a great opportunity, full scholarship opportunity. My parents always told me, they don't have money to pay for college, so you definitely have to earn your way and, obtain a basketball scholarship. So that's what I did. I was heavily involved in AAU travel basketball. I was already on a high profile high school team at Flint Northern High School. My teammates alone went high level Division I, Deanna Nolan, University of Georgia, Tawana McDonald, University of Georgia. All of the senior leaders before me went to Division I programs. So I definitely wanted to follow suit. Bethune-Cookman offered me a full ride scholarship. I was blessed to play for Coach Sandra Booker and Coach Leah Fudge, Earl Rogers, and Eric Wise. So I was blessed. And two, Michigan has snow, Florida has sunshine and the beach. So that's where I went.
All right, he said gotta follow the sunshine and not the snow. But
Oh, yeah.
I gotta ask, was that your first choice, Bethune Cookman, or did you kind of battle with other choices that maybe were closer to where you lived or where you were from, I should say?
Well, I definitely wanted to get far away. A lot of my friends were attending Michigan State, Eastern, Central, Western. It was a concerted effort for me to go off and learn and, just learn how to become an adult and, sacrifice, play ball and, to play ball in South Florida or Central Florida, however you want to categorize it, south of Michigan, I would say. So, it was definitely an opportunity for me to, attend an HBCU, being around great culture. I was already a big fan of their band and 14 Karat Gold Dancers. Those were my favorites. And, outside of the ASU Honeybees, I'm an honorary member of both in my mind. So definitely enjoyed the culture, and Bethune-Cookman had a special place in my heart, full scholarship. And I went to Bethune-Cookman sight unseen. I did not do a visit. The coaches kind of called me in the summer. I was a late bloomer as far as passing the ACT and SAT. So that plays a factor. So I definitely appreciate Bethune-Cookman coming through with that full ride scholarship.
Well, we're gonna get a little bit more into your Bethune Cookman days.
Hmm.
But we're gonna do that right after the commercial break. We'll be right back touring the AFC South. Whether it's local or long distance, Milligan Logistics has you covered. Milligan Logistics was established in 2020 with over a combined 15 years of experience in trucking, hauling, and logistics, along with over 50 years collectively of project management experience. Again, whether it's near or far, Milligan Logistics has you covered with quality service, efficiency while taking pleasure in exceeding clients' expectations. Need goods moved short or long distance? Milligan Logistics has you covered. Just reach out to them at 615-354-2618. That's 615-354-2618. Or you can send them an email at milliganlogistics@gmail.com. And again, that's milliganlogistics@gmail.com. All right, and we're back. Now, before the break, we talked about Florida, and going to Florida,
Hmm.
Bethune-Cookman. Now we got to get into Bethune-Cookman. Now, you said you went sight unseen to
Yes.
Bethune-Cookman. So I've got to ask, what was it like first stepping on campus, Bethune-Cookman?
Wow. It was a beautiful thing for me. The reason why I say that, my parents drove me down to Daytona Beach, helped me unpack my things, helped me load into the dormitory. I met my roommate. My roommate was from Detroit, so that helped. Having someone from home, and getting to know. And I was excited for the experience. It's an opportunity for me to grow as a young woman, to learn and showcase that, my parents taught me, how to carry myself. So I wasn't worried. They were more worried than I was. But I will say, watching my parents drive away after they unpacked me, then that's when I broke down. So it's definitely a blessing, but it's an experience that I wouldn't change for the world.
All right. And you went there, you played sports there. Now I've got to ask, how did Bethune Cookman kind of what did you learn most about yourself while you were on campus and kind of growing into an adult, as you would say, on
Mhm.
that campus? What did you learn most about yourself?
Um, that I was fearless. I couldn't jump in the car and go home on the weekend. I had to meet friends, meet people. Um, our dormitory was, very small, but at the same time, like I said, my roommate was from Detroit. So that helped. It forced me to get to know people, meet new friends, meet my suite mates, and just meet new people. So I was excited about that. And I'm not really a big crowd type of person. I'm very reserved, believe it or not. So it was an opportunity for me to grow and learn, communicate, meet friends, and meet new people.
Awesome. 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 It sounds like, I mean, honestly, I didn't get the HBCU experience. Wanted to go to Tennessee State. Just didn't work out. Ended
Mhm,
up going to another school that would be University of Tennessee at Martin. And that's
mhm.
where I went and played my college football. But I did want to go to Tennessee State University. It just didn't work out. So I often ask people that went to HBCUs how it
Mhm.
was, what the experience. So so don't mind me kind of indulging in or living through your experiences just a little bit. But
Yeah.
um, I've got to ask as well. You're now in kind of the administrative role.
Mhm.
Um, how did that kind of spark more when you were in college? And if so, when was that spark lit?
Yes, it actually was. Once I was done playing, I actually, played 2 years. Took a year off because I ended up pledging Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and then going back to finish my career out. My coach blessed me with some time off. Back then, I wish would have trademarked it then. I wanted to be more than an athlete. And that gave me some time to indulge in campus life, community work. And I have 21 line sisters that I wouldn't change for the world because of that experience. During my time at Bethune Cookman, once I was done playing, I had an opportunity to work operations for the men's basketball team under Coach Cliff Reed, as well as the football team with Coach Alvin Shine Wyatt. So I was able to get a glimpse of operations and administrative work for a football program and a Division I basketball program, and two historic coaches. So I learned then that operations was my thing. I knew coaching wasn't my thing very early on, and getting a taste of the ops and admin side of the house at my alma mater, kind of put the stamp on it that I wanted to go in that career path.
Okay, all right. So you kind of got started at your alma mater, but and you've been a few different places, but
Mhm.
I've got to ask, kind of earlier on, you were director of basketball operations at University of Arizona from '06 to '08. And I know you talked about going west and
Mhm.
over there and things like that. Now, going west, how was that for you? Was it kind of like, in some senses, fulfilling a dream of going west and looking to see if that particular show might be available? Or was it just something like, hey, I'm trying to get my feet a little bit more wet in this administrative field. I need to
Yes.
figure out what's going on so I can kind of continue to grow.
It was definitely something I knew I had to do. My desire, was to be a director of athletics. And I wasn't naive to the fact to where, you have to have quite a bit of experience in revenue sports at Power Five institutions, Group of Five, HBCU experience. And that's the mindset that I had. I knew if I didn't take that opportunity, I wasn't sure when another opportunity would have come along. So I looked at University of Arizona. Heading to Tucson, Arizona wasn't easy, leaving my family. At the same time, I knew for my career that's something that I had to do. I worked for a historic coach and Hall of Fame coach in Joan Bonvicini for the women's basketball program. And on the other side of the house was Hall of Fame basketball coach Lute Olson. Like, what better way to kind of start your career after college? Like, you can't make this stuff up. So I had a great champion in a Flint native in Shemmy Gray Miller, who championed me to head out there, as she had previously coached there before and had some ties. And I did an interview amongst a few hundred people, and I got the job.
There we have it. There we have it. Now, I have to ask, Arizona, boy, oh boy. I mean, I know you probably have a story about coming across Lute Olson or somebody, but I know I didn't kind of throw that one out there to you, but you said Lute Olson, and I was like, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. We got to say something about Lute Olson because I mean, rest in peace, Lute Olson. But hey,
Definitely.
Was there any kind of quirky stories or something interesting in regards to him that you can actually say on air? I would say.
I wouldn't say nothing quirky. He was very humble, very hospitable. The times that I did interact with him were very cordial. He didn't have like this, bigger than life attitude. Very humble, laid back guy. It was a great opportunity to, work beside him in basketball along with Joan. Joan was amazing as well.
Okay. All right. All right. Now, of course, not all of your experience is at the collegiate level. You
Mhm.
did have 3 years of experience in the NFL. Of course, you were the manager of diversity of inclusion, football ops, and football ops player engagement. How was that experience?
It was amazing. I had an opportunity to work with Troy Benson, who's currently the executive vice president of football operations at the league office. I managed our HBCU conference relationships through the HBCU Careers in Football Forum. I helped create our experience program, which gave students opportunities to work the tentpole NFL events, Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, Draft, Combine, and many other areas. So I'm very humbled to know that those programs still exist to this day. And students, especially HBCU students, still continue to get opportunities there.
Okay. All right. Now,
Mhm.
um, what made this, in terms of, positions you've held in college, what made this position different than anything in college that you had previously done?
I would just say being able to assist in helping students get opportunities, helping provide access and opportunities to students who look like me at schools that I've attended, from communities that I've worked in, and to allow them an opportunity to get on the job training at the NFL at such a high level. So that was a blessing in my career.
Well, I don't know if a lot of people understand the magnitude of the things that you did,
Oh yeah.
but there's a lot of kids. Like, I'll be honest, I'll be at the Black Sports Business Symposium in
Mhm.
Atlanta in next month. There will be a lot of kids there that probably either are trying to get into a program through the NFL through
Mhm.
HBCUs or have done a program there, and you're directly responsible for that. And I want to give you your flowers for that and say thank you for kind of giving back and reaching out to our kids and trying to kind of lift them up and provide things for them to kind of reach higher and know that higher things are available for them.
No problem. I appreciate that. It was a great experience.
Well, we don't want to stop at that experience though, because but you like I mentioned, you've been a few places. Not that is not a deterrent when I'm saying that. I just want anyone to it's listening. I'm not saying that's a deterrent. That's just because she's very much wanted. That's why she was in a lot of different places. But currently now you're assistant AD for football ops at Jackson State University.
Mhm.
Now, how is it working now at HBCU as opposed to when you previously did at Bethune-Cookman?
Um, it's not really a difference to me. For one, I come from the culture, and I come from this fabric of HBCU innovation and thought provoking opportunities. Um, it's still, to me, an opportunity to help provide positive experience and exposure for our HBCU institutions from a sporting standpoint.
Okay, all right. Now, um, I have to ask, just checking out the timeline here,
Hmm.
you were kind of there around the, when a certain particular somebody was there. That would be Deion Sanders. So what was the energy there when he was there, and has it kind of shifted, stayed the same, or whatever direction since he's departed for Colorado?
Gotcha. Well, I wasn't here when he was here. I just
Oh,
arrived here in January. And head coach TC Taylor, we have a previous stop together. He was my offensive coordinator at North Carolina Central when we won 3 MEAC championships under Coach Jerry Mack, who's now the assistant coach at University of Tennessee. So it was an opportunity for me to reconnect and support Coach Taylor in his head coaching opportunity, supporting him and his family, his beautiful wife Dawn Taylor and his family. So it was a no-brainer for me. When TC got the job, he reached out and told me he wanted me to come down and be his chief of staff and run football operations. And in this industry, it's a great opportunity and a stamp on your work when people you've previously worked with reach out again, come for you because they know what you stand for, they know how you operate, and they know that you're going to do a great job. So I appreciate Coach Taylor and his family and AD Robinson, Ashley Robinson here at Jackson State University for the opportunity. So, this was a blessing for me to come home and support Coach Taylor and come in and hit the ground running for our mission of what we're trying to do here at Jackson State University, which is to obtain an HBCU national championship. And that's what we're planning to do.
definitely, definitely. Now, the team has been there 2 years in a row. Of course, hasn't ended up the way that the university has wanted. But despite anyone saying that, oh, they might be this or they might be that, Jackson State is still going to be a very, very formidable team in for the Celebration Bowl, winning the Celebration Bowl. And
Yeah.
anyone that thinks that they're not, they kind of might not be paying attention, because that team still has a lot of talent.
No question. And to what people, remiss to, yes, we've been to the Celebration Bowl 2 years in a row. We're still SWAC champs. Don't forget that part. So it's definitely an opportunity for us to showcase who we are and what we do. And we're reloading, our recruiting class. We were, top HBCU recruiting class, in the top FCS, HBCU, and FCS recruiting class. So you can't remiss those two things as well. So the wheels are still churning. The ball doesn't stop just because, certain administrative changes. We're still rolling and we're still looking for, the opportunity to showcase who we are and what we do, and that's being champions on and off the field.
All right, I heard that, and I hope
Mm-hmm.
everyone listening heard that too. All right, definitely we have reached the end of the show, but of course, there's a game. There's 5 questions, 2 answers, and there's one choice. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. First one up, HBCU or PWI? Which one is I say the best for you to work at, or that you've enjoyed the most working at?
Definitely gonna choose HBCU. Just the culture and appreciation for history on and off the field and on the court and on campus. As you stated, I'm a graduate of Bethune-Cookman University, founded by Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, a historical woman who, paved the way in various areas. A giant amongst men is what I call her. So being not only a legacy of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, just a legacy of the HBCU culture. So definitely an HBCU.
I actually saw, I believe I saw information about her when I was in the White House, or in the
Mm-hmm.
White, the
No
little,
question.
not the White House, but the just the tour in the White House area. So for sure.
Yes.
Let's see. The next question: Super Bowl or Celebration Bowl? Which one have you had the best time at? Have you been to the Super Bowl before?
I have, funny fact.
I figured so.
That's some of the areas to where our HBCU students were able to get their experience. For Super Bowl Atlanta, I had the opportunity to take care of some historical people. Um, Congressman John Lewis, before his passing, rest in heaven, Dr. Bernice King and the King family, and former Atlanta Mayor Andrew Young. Those were the people that I had the opportunity to take care of during Super Bowl Atlanta. So that's one historical thing I will never forget. On top of being able to watch all of them communicate and talk to Miss Gladys Knight before the national anthem. So that's one thing in my career for Super Bowl and the NFL that I will never forget.
All right. Well, so you picking the Super Bowl on that one?
Yes, I'm gonna go with the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to tell the Celebration Bowl people you said. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
That's okay. I'll tell them in Atlanta.
all right. Well, what we can say is, Gladys took the midnight train to Georgia and she ended up staying. So there you go. Let's see. You got to pick between two Flintstones. We got Morris Peterson or Charlie Bell. Which one, in terms of their Michigan State days, would you say I'll take him over that guy?
Well, they're both family members, so I'll have to go with Morris Peterson. I've been blessed to assist him with his community camps in Flint, Michigan. His sister, Tonda Peterson, is a great friend of mine, still to this day as well. And I assist both of those guys, as far as Flint community supporters. But, I'll have to roll with Morris Peterson.
I was gonna throw Kyle Kuzma in that one, but I was like, nah, I gotta
Kyle
go
Kuzma
back.
is a little after me, but I appreciate all the things that he and his family is doing for the Flint community. So Kyle is still family too.
Right. I had to go back. I had to go dig in the archives with the guys that I remember at Michigan State for when I first started getting to know Michigan State. But
Oh yeah.
let's see. I'm gonna go with this one. Okay, you're at a HBCU game. Let's say you're at a Jackson State game. Which one are you? Well, no. As a fan, not working. But the band or the game, which one are you more captivated by watching when you're at a game?
If I'm attending the game as a general, civilian, it's definitely the band. As I stated, I'm a big fan of the 14K at Bethune-Cookman and the Honeybees at Alabama State. Those are my girls. As I stated, I'm an honorary member, but don't tell them because they don't know, just me. And but if I'm working, I'm focused on the game, focused on my student athletes, my coaches, and the outcome of us being successful. So
Okay. All right. All right. Kind of the diplomatic answer on both sides. I get you. I get it. Now we're going to talk a little bit of traveling. Of course, you're in Mississippi, so you're kind of between a couple different places, like New Orleans and Atlanta. Now Atlanta is not way closer than New Orleans. I think New Orleans is closer, but New Orleans or Atlanta, if you had to take one day to spend in one place, which one would be the best place to travel to?
I'm gonna shoot for Atlanta. Reason being, Atlanta has a special place in my heart. I was a part of the Celebration Bowl with North Carolina Central in 2016 when we went. I was the director of football operations. And then that's the start in Atlanta and in Atlanta for our football season. And this year, I definitely plan on being in Atlanta and starting the season versus South Carolina State, and plan on ending in Atlanta at the Celebration Bowl with an HBCU national championship at Jackson State University. So I'm going to choose Atlanta.
Well, for those that aren't watching and listening, she said that with a straight face, so I know she means business. All right. Want to thank you all, everyone, for tuning in. I want to thank you for coming on, Miss Jashell Mitchell. Thank you for coming on. I want to give you the floor. Tell everyone anything you may be working on or where people can find you. If you are on social media, you may not have social media. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah,
No,
let people know where they can find you.
I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you for, even allowing me to share with your audience. For me, social media, I'm on Instagram as Miss ESPN20, MSESPN20, and on Facebook, Jashell Mitchell. Twitter, I'm still kind of learning, but Flint MI Bread on Twitter. So that's where you can find me.
Said Flint MI.
Yep, Flint, as in Flint, Michigan. Flint MI Bread, BRED. Flint, Michigan
Okay.
Bread on Twitter.
Okay. I'm pretty sure y'all got your own little community over there on
Yeah,
Twitter
we
too,
do.
probably.
That's what champions and Hall of Famers do.
Ooh. Okay. Throwing Flint versus everybody action out here, I see. All right. Well, thank you again for coming on. Thank you, everyone, for listening. You can find Touring the AFC South on Spotify. You can find it on Apple Podcasts. You can find it on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. You name it, we're there. And also, you can find this broadcast on YouTube. Touring the AFC South is on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter at Mike Patton 82. That's MikePatton 82. And on IG, THA, which is the, not the, underscore, general underscore MP. Thank you all again for tuning in to another episode of Touring the AFC South. I am your host, Mike Patton. We're out.